Well, hello. Welcome to our continuing devotional through the Bible. Currently, we're in the book of Philippians, and we're looking at Philippians chapter 3, starting with verse 1. And we'll break this down verse by verse. Here's what he says, verse 1. Finally, my brothers, rejoice in the Lord. To write the same things to you is no trouble to me, and it is safe for you. So after reminding them of what has by many been acknowledged as the key theme, the major theme of the book of Philippians, which is joy in the Lord and rejoicing in the Lord. And he'll come back to that in chapter 4. He then says, to write the same things to you is no trouble to me. In other words, I'm going to repeat some of the instructions I've already given you. One of the things that Christians sometimes mistakenly believe is that every teaching, every sermon, every devotional, every Bible study needs to be somehow new, fresh, gaining insight they did not have before. But most teaching, most Bible studies, most devotionals are saying the same thing to you, the things you've heard before if you've been a Christian any amount of time, because we don't just need to hear these things once. We need to have these things reinforced in our life again and again and again, really throughout our lives, whether that's to be strong in the faith, to be encouraged in the spirit, to be wary of temptations, to be on guard against Satan, to be looking forward to the return of Christ. All these things we need to be reminded of again and again and again. So Paul says, hey, I don't mind doing this. It's no trouble to me to write to you the same things. Or to teach you the same things, and it is. Verse 1 says it is safe for you. In other words, it's needed. It isn't like you hear it once and you from that point forward you remember it and you live it out, but rather it's a constant reinforcement of truth that is safe for Christians to be engaged in, to hear again and again. And then he begins to talk about some of the things he's been teaching them and warning them about. And so he says in verse 2, look out for the dogs. Look out for the evildoers. Look out for those who mutilate the flesh. Now, this is really, really strong language, but there's a reason it's very strong language. There was a group of people that are sometimes referred to as Judaizers, and they were teaching that it was necessary to become Jewish and to keep the law and all the various aspects of the law, both ritually, sacrificially, legal code, all of it, to keep it all as a way to earn salvation, to be right with God. And so Paul uses very strong language. He says, look out for the dogs. This was a very repugnant word that meant unclean. That meant, dogs were not, in that day were not cute little puppy pets that like we have in America today. They were wild animals that were unsafe. They would bite you. They would attack you. They would work in gangs. And so Paul is saying, listen, there's religious people out there that they're dogs. And he's not intending to be disrespectful, but he's saying that's their character. Jesus called the Pharisees vipers, snakes. And so this language is saying this is what they do. They attack, they bite, they hurt. You need to be on the guard against them. Look out for the evil doers. And here's the thing. These evil doers come in the garb of righteous people, of religious people. Not every evil doer, and even not most evil doers, are Charles Manson, serial killers, made obvious. But rather, they often appear as angels of. Finally, in verse 2 there, he says, look out for those who mutilate the flesh. And again, this is an exaggeration and a comment on their focus on circumcision, whereas circumcision, in this case, is referring to becoming Jewish. And it was a good thing. It was instituted by God. It was a sign and seal of the covenant that they were under. But because of the way they're using it today and insisting upon a legalistic approach to God in which you merit your salvation and your right relationship with God through your own behavior and through your own actions, Paul says instead of being a symbol of something good, it's just mutilation. It has no real spiritual value whatsoever. ever. So hopefully this is a reminder to us that of two things. One, we need to hear the same things again and again. That's safe for us. And secondly, there are people who are religious, but they're not righteous. And they're actually detrimental to your spiritual walk, and we need to be on guard against them. Hope you will consider these things. Have a blessed day.